Bitcoin has officially closed below the 50 EMA and leading span A on the daily chart. In the next 7 days, we shall have a very detailed and clear understanding of where Bitcoin is going on the macro. Are we going to see a loss of 86k and thus a cataclysmic correction? Or will the buyers step back in the near demand zone and reverse the price action upwards for 2025? These are questions we're answering in today's video. Let's jump on in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having an absolutely fantastic day today. In today's video, we are doing a comprehensive short-term and high time frame analysis for Bitcoin, discussing the recent volatility, the key levels you should be paying attention to, exactly what the buyers need to do to reverse the price action, the total altcoin market cap, and even the total market cap. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us over on Telegram. This is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop of cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, click the pinned comment to join our VIP channel. We have a VIP channel that has been operating since 2021. You can find our entire trading track record in that pinned comment by clicking the second link, or a 10+ minute video by clicking the first link and then clicking this link here. Again, the VIP channel, you'll get access to trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to our group chat, our general chat, our trading chat, education chat, our daily video, our help, our news, and our trade setup chat. I am in these chats active almost 12 hours a day, so it's a great place to be a part of the deeper community. If you were interested, again, contact me via the pinned comment by clicking my name. Let's go ahead and jump on in. So as we can see, price action for Bitcoin, we haven't done too much on the higher time frame, but we have seen some very significant moves on the daily, having now broken below the 50 EMA here. Let's go ahead and revert this chart back to our normal colors, and that leading span A right over here on the daily chart. So we have officially broken below the 50 EMA for the first time since we broke above it back at the beginning of October, and the leading span A since we broke above it back at the beginning of September. Looking at the short-term price action, Bitcoin is still steadily going toward the downside, following that 4-hour downtrend represented by the diagonal trend line. And with that downtrend, we can also still see that momentum is still negative. The RSI has not yet cleared this downtrending diagonal resistance, which again is acting as confluence with the 4-hour downtrend. So we don't have any signs here yet that the buyers are back in control. We have seen some short-term volatility. Again, if we look at this immediate price action on the hour, we have seen some large moves toward the upside. But again, even with these moves, we just don't have the strength yet across that 4-hour chart, across the higher time frames, to reverse or be confident that these moves are going to be sustained. And if you follow along the channel, you'll find out the key levels we're going to be watching, and we'll discuss in today's video exactly what needs to happen for us to be confident in these reversals to develop. So before we get into any of that, let's move over to the market data. 24-hour volume and liquidations have gone up a fair bit. Liquidations are up 141%, sitting at 300 million. So getting pretty high there, with the majority of those liquidations coming from long positions, particularly over the last hour or so, 2 hours or so. In the last 4 hours, we have 41 million in liquidations as a consequence of that mass volatility, and 184 million in total in 24 hours from longs, with 92 million coming from shorts. 24-hour volume is up 81% at 215 billion. Again, coming out of the weekend into the new week and into the new year, we are most likely going to see volumes start to trickle toward the upside. Moving over to the DXY, not too much happening here for DXY. Still, we have our key levels on the chart annotated over here. Our key horizontal support level represented by this gray box. While we sit above this level, we are expecting continuations higher. And if we do drop below this level, we are watching for continuations lower if that prior low point ends up being unable to sustain as a level of support. If that does occur, we will then be flipping bearish and be expecting corrections. It is likely that DXY will either remain pretty much where it is or slightly grind upwards into the next interest rate decision. And during that decision, we'll get a more definitive understanding of where the DXY is going to be headed for the coming months. Moving over to the S&P 500, again, not looking fantastic. Now, as we said in yesterday's video, this is essentially the beginning of a reversal. Now, will this reversal turn into a high time frame downtrend? It's too soon to say, but it is unlikely. But what is very, very evident here is that we are seeing a local top develop, we are seeing a downtrend, we are seeing exhaustion, and we are seeing these prior levels of resistance being retested again as resistance for continuations lower. So what we can see in the chart over here is, for us to be confident in the continuation upwards, we need to clear this high. We've got our current level of resistance sitting at that psychological level at around $6,000. We have now closed about 3 candles below this region with another weekly candle looking pretty bearish upon the 3 days remaining on this candle, and we are expecting a potential correction back into these lows at support. Now, provided we sustain above 5,700, we are going to be macro bullish, meaning we expect on the macro scale, the price action will eventually continue back toward the upside. If we drop below 5,700, that would likely result in a loss of the 50 EMA and will likely result in a higher time frame downtrend originating potentially into around that $5,000 region. Now, do I think this move is likely? I do not think it is likely. But if we do drop below 5,700, at that point, I will believe that move is likely. Until then, the worst case scenario for the S&P 500 is we correct back to 5,700 and then continue upwards. Best case for the S&P 500, we are able to reclaim that 6,100 level. And if we do, that is going to invalidate this downward move and result in an immediate continuation toward the upside. So essentially how you should be playing this, in my opinion right now, is this is going to be acting as a local top, and we should believe this is a local top. We should be more or less cautious in the price action with expectations toward the downside until proven that the buyers are back in control. And that is a similar notion we have with Bitcoin right now. We are expecting the price action to continue down as we have since 108,000. We have been looking for moves into this region, okay? As we have been, and we have that same premise. We expect the price action to continue downwards until there is evidence that the buyers are back in control to be able to shift the price action back upwards. I'll say it, and I say it all the time. Confirmation is the insurance you pay to be right, okay? Sometimes it is better to take a step back and let the price action move a little bit and jump in slightly later if by doing so you afford a small potential unrealized, you lose potential profits, right? But by doing so, the probability of success massively increases. So confirmation is the insurance you pay to be correct, and that is something we have to look at, particularly when we have these very evident downtrends. There's no point being too bullish right over here when all the data is suggestive that we are in a downtrend. Wait for that to begin to flip, and the same principle we just mentioned here applies to the S&P 500. We are waiting to see where the buyers step in and how they step in before we then look for short-term continuations upwards. That is not necessarily me to say that I'm massively bearish. If you know, on the S&P 500, I have been religiously bullish since May, June 2023, around that area, 2023. Every video, if you look at any video from a year ago, 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 2 months ago, I have been calling every day for a $6,000 target. We have reached our target. Not many people have done that. Now we are saying we believe the local top is in, we see the weakness, we see a potential for a pullback, and we are not macro bullish, but we are short-term bearish. There's a difference. We are macro bullish, sorry. We are not macro bearish, we're short-term bearish, and we understand what needs to happen for us to turn back to being bulls and continuations upwards. Okay, let's move over to Bitcoin, guys. Before we do, a quick word from BitUnix, BitGet, and BitGet. If you were interested in getting 15 to 45% discounts on your trading fees for life, sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX with the links down below. That will help support the channel, support me making the content, and support you as a trader. Check it out, sign up, takes a few seconds, and let's jump back in. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and jump back into the video. And I want to start on the short-term price action. I really want to discuss what is happening because we've seen a lot of volatility in the last hour, right? We saw Bitcoin drop all the way down to a new local low at 91,500, pushing all the way back up to around 95K, then to just drop all the way back down within like an hour. So we've seen a lot of volatility. Now, with the price action, the key levels we are still watching for the bulls to reclaim control are going to be, once again, trend, structure, strength. For us to be confident that the buyers are back in control, we are watching for, number one, we are watching for the RSI to break toward the upside. This would indicate that during the time between the 16th of December onwards, this period over here, the momentum which has been decreasing, right, the RSI decreasing, has finally flipped back positive. That would suggest that the selling pressure, okay, has been, number one, exhausted, and number two, potentially absorbed based on what we are seeing in regards to the structure of the price action time at the time of which the RSI breaks upwards. But nevertheless, it would significantly increase the probabilities that the buyers will be able to continue that trend toward the upside rather than see this slow decrease along that trend line back downwards. So we are watching very closely on the RSI for a positive momentum shift. Number two, with the positive momentum shift, we would want to see the price action follow through. We don't want to see discrepancies between the price action and the strength of the trend, the momentum. We want to see them work together. We want to see them reflecting the same thing. So we would want to see, as that RSI breaks upwards, we would like to see the price action within about a candle or two also breaks through that trend line. At that point, we will not only have a positive momentum shift, but we would have a breakout on our downtrend, thus again increasing the possibilities and probabilities for a continuation up into that next level of resistance. Now, by doing this, in my eyes, that would establish a local low and a possible continuation back toward the upside. That could reverse the downtrend. Until that happens, Bitcoin is in a downtrend, and if we drag this diagonal trend line out, we can see, provided this downtrend holds as resistance, the price action has the potential to scoot all the way back down to our lowest most area of support at 86,000. At the moment, this is a realistic expectation for Bitcoin, provided we remain under the downtrend and underneath the RSI trend line. If we take you back to a chart in December 2023, I'm going to go ahead and take you to a Telegram really quickly. This is going to be our fractal from December 2023. You can see how similar this is compared to the current price action. If we look at the current price action and then we look at this, we can see how similar that is. We had that test nuke over here. We had that slow grind upwards to a new all-time high, followed by a correction into New Year's. That's exactly what is happening. A test nuke, a New Year correction. That New Year correction took us to a very particular point. It took us underneath that test nuke's sell side liquidity. That local low generated by that nuke, that is the point at which we broke below. So if we are looking for reversals, according to what we have seen historically for Bitcoin, we are watching for a reversal to develop between the prices of, okay, we'll show you, between the prices of 90,800 and 86,000. So a pretty big range there, but a very important range. Let's discuss that. 90,800 is going to be the low of that test correction. We have a whole bunch of liquidity sitting between this point and $86,000. This is a mass liquidation range, okay? We will see 1 billion plus in liquidations if we drop to the lower side of $86,000. At the point of which we drop below $86,000, we enter a low historical resistance range. The low historical resistance range is again expressed again by the VRPV. We have a high historical resistance range, meaning we have a lot of trading volume between the prices of 86,000 and 102,000, and we have not as much trading volume between the prices of 86,000, and that takes us down to around that $70,000 region. So this is a region where there is less historical volume traded, and therefore we have less pending orders, we have less limit orders in those regions, which opens up the market to fill these gaps between these volume chunks. So we see a breakdown of a key support with bearish momentum and volatility. It is possible we could see a massive amount of bearish volatility pick up below 86,000. So we know that 86,000 is what we'll call a bearish trigger point. Thus, it acts as a roadblock. It acts as a bit of a defense. It acts as a bit of a support level. And therefore, we have come to the conclusion that our support region of the area we're looking for reversals is between our sell side liquidity, where below mass liquidations will occur, into the $86,000 region, and that is going to be the area of which we watch for reversals. So am I short-term bearish? Yes. I've been short-term bearish for a while, and my target is still going to be the same. We have not reached my reversal target. Once we have reached this area, I will then begin to look for reversals, provided the trend and the RSI is not yet broken. If the trend and the RSI breaks prior to us even seeing a correction into here, then I will believe the downward move is done. We will not see a lower correction. But until that happens, I'm expecting a move to at least 90,800 to 86,000. Now, if we move to the daily chart, guys, let's go over to the daily chart. We have lost the 50 EMA and we've lost the leading span A. This is a pretty bearish sign. This is an indication that the exhaustion that has been present since that bearish divergence developed has now metastasized into a strong downtrend. It has resulted in this bullish volatility that we have between the 50 EMA and the price action, which has slowly been dissipating, has now flipped. That is basically a sign that the sellers are in complete control of this price action, and we are now developing a downtrend on the daily chart. Now, will this downtrend develop into a strong downtrend? It is possible, but right now this is just going to be a reversal point, or should I say, a indication that the sellers are completely in control on the daily chart, and the possible correction we have here is all the way back down to that leading span B, which sits at around 86,000. So we could see that move into that $86,000 region. We could see a liquidity grab below before we continue back upwards. I do also want to show you that fractal again. You can notice that we do reverse back toward the upside after this move. We actually go to a new all-time high. So it is possible that when we break this trend line, that local low will be a local low before we then see a continuation back into a new all-time high for 2025. At the moment, I hold by the stance. I am macro bullish, but I am short-term bearish, okay? Macro bullish, short-term bearish. Let's talk about that a little bit more on the higher time frame charts. The macro charts are still looking pretty decent. Now, I want to show you this chart here. This is going to be our total market cap chart. We talked about this in yesterday's video. We'll go over it again really quickly. As per the total market cap, cryptocurrency as a whole is bullish. we are sitting above the 2021 high point. What we can see in the 2021 breakout, we saw a strong break of the 2018 high, we saw a 30% correction, and then we saw a continuation. We did not drop back below that high point, and therefore we can use that as some sort of confluence for the current price action. While we remain above the 2021 high, $3 trillion, okay, we are expecting cryptocurrency to be bullish. If we drop below 3 trillion, I'll be very concerned for a higher time frame correction, because for us to drop below 3 trillion, Bitcoin will have to drop below 86. And like we said, we drop below 86, we run the risk of a much steeper correction. And this move could have consequence on the macro integrity of Bitcoin's trend, meaning it has the potential to reverse the macro uptrend. But until that happens, Bitcoin is macro bullish. While the total holds above this level, we are expecting continuations higher. That is not confirmed yet though, but we are expecting that. And again, that is something we are paying very close attention to. So to summarize everything, the short-term volatility in the last 24 hours, although at the moment there was looking pretty good, it wasn't really enough to suggest the trend was reversing. A lot of late longs aped in expecting a continuation higher, only then to get liquidated back down toward the downside. The momentum and the trend is still very much bearish. The daily chart, we are breaking down some critical levels of support, which are indicating the buyers are really not in control of this price action at the moment. Therefore, the most logical expectation is that we move toward demand. Demand is sitting between 90,800 and 86,000, where we also have mass liquidation events occurring if the price action taps between those levels. Mass liquidations equals money onboarding. We see new money into the market when we have these liquidation events. Mass liquidations often mark reversal points. So we could and most likely will see a high time frame reversal develop from that region we have been targeting for the last, 14 days to result in that continuation upwards, provided 86k holds. I'll say it again. The move toward the downside is most likely coming to an end within the next 2 weeks. The reason we say 2 weeks is because this apexes around the 7th of January. That's like a little bit less than 2 weeks. So by the time we get to the end of the first week of January, we should know where Bitcoin is going on the higher time frame. We will know if Bitcoin is going to go up, or we will know if Bitcoin is going to go down for the start of 2025. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys in the next video on Thursday. See you then.